I do want to welcome some people in the audience that I'm just seeing right now before we get talking some more. We got Dark Sage 9117 saying, I'm going to give an unpopular opinion of the MCU if I may. You may. Oh man, he already did. And then
Yeah.
before I get to his next one, I will say hi to Joel Benjamin, who was here on our show recently. And he said Fincher doing Ghost Rider. That's interesting. I like that suggestion. I don't know if I like that more than Travis's suggestion. But let's see this unpopular opinion before we get back to
hmm
Deadpool versus Lobo, which would be the best one. And I should have probably screened this one before I
Oh yeah,
posted
you
it, but
you.
here we go.
It's on
Here we
you.
go. Yeah, here we go. We'll just say the biggest mistake Disney and Marvel made, I'm quoting Darksage, by the way, was chasing the casual fans. As an avid comic book reader, I feel they should give the characters exactly how they are and only change them if absolutely needed, like they did with Thanos and his story arc. Casual fans only stick around when something is popular, and this approach will be their downfall. I would agree with you that that is an unpopular opinion. Uh, I would.
It's
As an avid comic book reader and somebody who's been collecting comic books since I was a little boy, I really enjoy the fact that there is content now that's appealing to casual fans, so that I can finally uh, come out of my nerd closet and talk to people that wouldn't normally engage with me on that. And if they want
mhm.
to know more, I can redirect them to comic books and say, here's the real thing if you want to know. Like if you want to call it the real thing, whatever. But I don't really want to do that. I think whatever people like, whatever resonates with them, whatever makes them feel, whatever makes them connect to characters that are inspiring, let them. Don't be mad
I
about it.
mean,
There's different flavors for everybody.
there wasn't Marvel gonna go out of business 22 years ago, right?
They had filed for bankruptcy
Yeah,
in the
like, and
90s in the
I
90s.
would assume at that point they were all about the comic fan, the hardcore, the legacy people, but they're not gonna sustain your business, man.
They're
That's
not.
just the fact. You wanna have $1,000,000 movie? Cool. You wanna have $1,000,000,000 movie? You need the casuals. You need everybody to watch that movie. So you gotta paint the broadest swath, that you can to get all that money.
I
And
wanna
it
I I wanna hear what Travis has to
yeah.
say about this.
I think you're both right.
Mhm.
Um, and what I mean is, I think Dark Sage has a point. And I think you have a point too. Um, I was talking about this with a friend of mine, and it seems like the movies now are breeding like their own sort of uh, sage, or like movies in and of themselves are continuity, right?
Mhm.
Just like and the comics are too. um and so and you made a great point when you said, the real thing, if you want to know more, read this, but who's to say which one is right now,
Right,
right?
exactly. Right.
Because it's almost like, when you see your movie and it says based on a true story, right? The based on a true story is friggin', your comic or
Yeah.
whatever, right? So I think I think there's an interesting middle ground here. And that and actually that is gonna this is perfect as far as the comment is concerned, because it is going to serve the basis for all my arguments or my positions through this entire night. So
Yeah,
strap in.
I agree. Yeah, and I do feel that there's a hit or miss kind of quality to a lot of the content that we talk about and stuff. But here's the thing, I was thinking about this just from the bigger perspective of like I always praise like Marvel for they took their comic book system, the system they had in place for decades, and they just applied it to movies, right?
Mhm.
And that's what we've seen here over the last, like, 27 movies, I don't know how many it is, right? And
27. Yeah.
yeah, and so what's really funny about that is, like, comic book fans are very opinionated, like, I being one know that for sure. And I know that I get very opinionated when I don't see depictions or recreations of a character that I think I know. But here's the reality, though, like, that most comic book fans did not start from the beginning. Most comic book fans do not read, Detective Comics number 31 when it came out in 1930s, and then they're on board for every single Batman story that's ever been written in the history of time. It's not what happens. What happens is you pick up Frank Miller's Dark Knight one day and you say, that is Batman. Or you pick up Jeff Loeb's Long Halloween and you're like, that is Batman. Every character that you love in comics has a defining moment for you, the reader. And so what that means is everybody actually has a different idea of what that character is. What creates fandom is when you get a lot of people that all agree on the same idea. But what creates toxic fandom is when those people all decide that there can be no other way. That's the danger, right?
Mhm.
So I think you made some excellent points. I I agree with everything you just said. I mean, that's exactly what we're dealing with now in this, in this fandom, and it's crazy, right? And
Mhm.
I think sometimes, I, if I could put this in like food terms, almost, right? Like, you ever see like a sommelier drink a glass of wine and all the things that they do. They say, oh, it has this
Yeah.
fruity tone and it's this, and the berries were picked, and so on and so forth, right?
Some people
Well,
just want to
someone
get drunk. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, that's
Yeah.
exactly it. They'd be like, yo man, this wine is the bomb, right? And that's it, right?
Yeah.
And that's really what we're dealing with. And the problem is that our sommelier tendencies are killing people because some
Yeah.
people just want
Yeah.
to get drunk.
I
I mean,
I
that's life
know.
advice right there. Just
Yeah.
don't yuck someone else's yum. Like,
Thank you.
Yeah.
you can like different things, and that's cool.
I know I do it sometimes to, especially to Ricky. And it feels good in the moment, obviously. But at the end of the day, we started podcasts together because I was fascinated by the fact that this person that's blood related to me can actually think that the Star Wars prequels
Mhm.
are the best Star Wars. And I wanted to kill him at first, but then I was like, you know what? He comes from a different point of view, and it's fine. It's fine because the thing
Mercury
we
poisoning too.
yeah,
This
exactly.
mercury.
But the thing that we
Took the
should be
fluoride out.
the thing that we should be respecting is that we like Star Wars. You know what I mean? That's we can both like Star Wars and we just like different things about it.
Mhm.
So I see the MCU as something that I'm not as tethered to, but I like it because it's accessible to so many people. And I do this show because I know that so many more people now know what a Moon Knight is or who Doctor Strange is and stuff like that. And I couldn't have done this show in a way that actually, was entertaining for more people if it was just us talking about the latest issue of a comic book that came out yesterday, you know what I mean, or Wednesday.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
true.